Bastien Joseph, Port-au-Prince. What business do Templars have there?
Captain! More French vessels at our tail!
Too many! We'll retreat through the storm!
We will be smashed ashore!
A worse fate awaits if we let this land in Templar hands!
Aye, Captain!
Alrighty, put on my glasses, got some coffee. Tastes like cold. Alright, here we go. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was released as a standalone title in February 2014. For a reference, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was originally released October 2013. Freedom Cry was developed and published by the same team as Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It was originally DLC for the game, but like I mentioned already, it has become standalone since. In Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, you play as Adewale, about 15 to 20 years after the events of Black Flag. Having joined the Assassins, he intercepts a message that has something to do with the Templars. In investigating its original intended receiver, he finds himself involved with a revolution to free the slaves in the Caribbean. I didn't know about this DLC's existence until I bought and finished Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. A couple of months later, when I attempted my second playthrough, the season pass was on sale for like $10, and so I got it, and this came with it. Despite purchasing it, a long time ago, I haven't really touched it until now. So, seeing as how it was like basically a standalone game, I figured I'd do a review for it. I'm giving the game a 7 out of 10, which is higher than the score I am giving, or that I gave Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And here are the reasons why.
Went down to the river Jordan.
If you haven't seen my review for Assassin's Creed 4, watch it, to see why I didn't like Edward Kenway. Or you could just hear me say it again here, whatever. Edward Kenway wasn't an interesting protagonist. He was just a lame pirate that fell dick first into becoming an assassin. Adewale is he's an ex-slave that escaped, then he became a pirate, and then an assassin, and then he helped free slaves, already just like that, just with that, he sounds better, right? Because he was a slave, and because he was doing something noble, like freeing more slaves, and fighting slave owners, it was just way easier and more fun to sympathize with his character. When he got angry, it really wasn't hard to see why.
Went down to the river Jordan.
Adewale spends most of the game freeing slaves and helping the Maroons, which is basically like the guys that want independence. And, towards the end of the game, people begin to ask interesting questions. For example, the lady you come into contact with, a lot, tells you that because you've been freeing more slaves, the French have taken notice, and Adewale just goes, yeah, so what's your point? And she mentions that now, the French are just, since you've been saving all these, the French are actually way more strict with their slaves now. And it doesn't become like a full-blown debate, but the two do go back and forth here and there for a while, basically saying, you're freeing slaves, but you're hurting the ones that you don't save. And Adewale, with the counterpoint, basically shrugs it off and says it's the price of freedom. But it really didn't make me think for a while. After I finished the game, I'm like, was I really doing good? Or, was I maybe causing more pain than good? I guess it was just a proper philosophical conundrum. Like the whole, I feel there's this philosophical conundrum where, I'm not sure if I'm getting it right, but it's something like, if you're on a train filled with people, would you run over someone on the tracks to save everyone, or would you let the train crash to avoid taking a life? Anyways, it made me think more than Black Flag ever did.
Went down to the river Jordan.
A big complaint I had with Black Flag was that in between all the pirate stuff, the assassins and the Templar conflict felt super forced. Adewale is an assassin, without a doubt, but at least the conflict didn't feel forced. The story of Freedom Cry is almost like a deviation from whatever Adewale was supposed to be doing. You know, like when your car runs out of gas, you know, while you're on a date, and, I don't know, rather than driving to dinner, you end up walking to the gas station, meeting people along the way, you know, fighting off some piece of shit snake. You know, they got threatened for no reason, just, I didn't look at you. Sorry, I mean, not me. That was an example. Or was it? It was just an adventure within an adventure, and I liked it. At the end of the game, Adewale just says, "Yeah, I gotta go back to the assassins." This to me just felt more real than just the whole Kenway nonsense.
Went down to the River Jordan.
The game is technically an extension of Black Flag, and since Black Flag was pretty unpolished, this game is the same. Just about everything is still an unpolished mess. The characters look weird, the controls will sometimes turn on you, and the visuals need an improvement in general. I will mention, though, that the audio seemed to be a lot better in the DLC than it was in the main game. Maybe that just has to do with the size of the game compared to the massive scale of Black Flag. Or, you know, maybe I'm just talking shit, but the audio didn't seem like it desynchronized nearly as much as in Black Flag. And the soundtrack was a little bit more memorable, you know, some chants here and there. More importantly, though, if you had a tough time with the controls in Black Flag, chances are you'll encounter the same here. Once again, I got Adewale stuck on like a 4-foot fence, and it fucked my whole mission up. I climbed on a fence instead of jumping over it. I just got kind of just stuck there, like perched like an owl.
Went down to the River Jordan.
Adewale helps because he wants to. He's the best feel-good assassin I've probably ever played as. All the other assassins help people by assassinating some big figure, but most of the time it's less to help people than it is to hurt the Templars. And because the game is free from a giant conspiracy conflict and you're simply playing as a man with the abilities of an assassin, everything you do is basically for the good of the people. By helping slaves escape, liberating slave ships and giant compounds. Sure, you know, I got rewarded here and there, but I actually felt good about doing it. You know, like killing Nazis in Wolfenstein. Doing good in a video game actually feels good. I mean, who the fuck knew? Once again, it just made me stand out more. It made him stand out more than Edward Kenway or Fuckboy Ezio. Anyways, those are the reasons why I gave this game a 7 out of 10. It's not that many reasons, but at the same time, the game's actually pretty short. I finished this game in 2 days, you know, about 2-3 hour sessions, maybe. The game is still a mess, you know, because it is an extension of Black Flag. Any problems you encountered in that game, you can pretty much expect here. However, I feel like Freedom Cry has a better story and better main character. By not shoving the conflict down our throats and by simply making this journey a deviation from Adewale's original plan, it makes Adewale a more genuine character, you know, as a good, decent human being. Honestly, he might just be my second favorite assassin of all time, just right under Connor Kenway. And, you know, with more interesting little errands and side missions and just a more compelling main character, the faults of the technical side of the game are easier to forgive. It's just a good standalone game with merely one reference to Edward Kenway from the main story, so I would definitely recommend this game to people who want to play a decent game or, you know, someone who wants to get their feet wet with the Assassin's Creed series. The game is far from perfect, but hey, it can hold its own. It can handle its own? No, it can hold its own. So anyways, once again, for me, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry gets a 7.
It is done. He suffered badly. I made sure of it.
Out of 10.
Have you come to say goodbye?
For now. But not without giving you this.